Just south of Seneca Lake, amidst the rolling vineyards and woodlands in upstate New York's Finger Lakes region, sits a shrine of American motorsport. Watkins Glen International is more than just a racetrack. It's the birthplace of post-war road racing in North America, a worthy test of some of the best drivers to ever sit in a race car. Today, the Glen hosts the NASCAR Cup Xfinity Series and a 6-hour crown jewel of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Sports Car Club of America Pro and Amateur Racing, ARCA Menard Series, and a major vintage race meet in September. It has also been home to major concerts and other festivals. Over the years, the Glen has been lengthened once and continually upgraded. A lap around today's Grand Prix circuit still incorporates much of the original layout. The first turn is known as the 90, a right-hander and a good place to pass. Then it's up toward the S's, a series of 3 fast sweeping apexes leading onto the back straightaway. Cars reach their top speed here before hard braking for the bus stop at the end of the straight. Here the track doubles back through the carousel, followed by another long straight and into the fast turn 10. A quick left-hander, it's harder than it looks. The last corner, turn 11, another fast right-hander that leads out onto the main straight. Racing first came to the Glen in 1948, form of the Watkins Glen Grand Prix, an SCCA-sanctioned event that ran on a more than 6-mile course over the back roads of town. The success of that event eventually led to the construction of a permanent facility, the resulting product a little more than a third in length of the original street course. In '57, the track hosted its first race, a NASCAR Grand National event, won by Buck Baker over Fireball Roberts. The following year, Formula Libre showed up. Not long after that, the Glen hit the big time. In 1961, Formula One came to the little town by the lake, bringing with it some of the most legendary names in motorsports. For the next 2 decades, the home of the U.S. Grand Prix was the Glen. The early 80s saw some tough times for the Glen. F1 held its last race there in 1980, and it was closed to all but spectator-free SCCA meets for 2 years. The track would soon recover under new ownership. In 1986, NASCAR's Top Series returned to the Glen, and with it, a whole new renaissance for the track began. Tonight, it's round 5 of the Vigilante Racing League, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the virtual Watkins Glen International. I'm Steve Singer, joined in the booth by road course legend Zach Millett. Zach, how are you?
Oh, man, legend, I don't know, but it's good to be here, Steve, man.
Race details tonight, 55 laps the race distance. Track temp 101 degrees. Drivers with unlimited tire sets tonight and a fuel window of 16 to 19 laps. We'll have to see who uses the strategy, who doesn't, who just goes all out and tries to run this race really the way it was intended. You got to be a little crafty and not just fast around this place. And Zach, you know all too well what it takes to get around this place and win races for that matter. Really, what is the key to success at a place like the Glen?
It's one of those things you just have to stay smooth, Steve. You know, it's easy to make mistakes, especially in these trucks. Since the last update, you really have to drive these things. So, you know, as you go later into the run and the tires get hotter, it's going to get a little slippery, and I think it's going to create pretty good content for us to watch. And we'll see, man. We'll see what the fuel brings and what guys do with tires. And it's going to be fun to watch.
Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Eaton is the fastest, a minute 12:5:40. That's a pretty decent lap, Zach. I mean, what were you running when your test is? I know you're typically a road race expert when it comes to these trucks, especially here. What kind of lap times were we seeing out of you earlier?
Since the update, they have slowed down a little bit. I'm guessing just because of the tire model. But I was doing 11.8 in a few different sessions. So, I mean, these guys are right there. I mean, that's that 12.5, that's moving.
Track temperature obviously having a lot to do with that as well. 101 the temp now. We do have some sunshine jumping in, but I believe it's going to be an overcast skies kind of day here tonight.
That'll definitely open up the driving a little bit. It'll be fun to watch.
Practice in the books. Eaton fastest in that practice session. We'll jump right into qualifying here in just a moment. So George Rincon may be the first to roll here. Indeed he is.
That's a good-looking paint scheme, Steve. Old school.
Throwback to the Mike Skinner scheme, definitely.
Dominating paint scheme that was.
So this is the out lap for the 28. And what we mean by out lap effectively is this is his first lap leaving out of pit lane. So he's got that whole time to get some heat into the tires, build some tire pressure, get that truck really in and get ready for those 2 laps. You only have 2 to get it done here, and it's a lot more opportunities than the oval to make mistakes. 11 corners effectively if you count the 4 that are in the bus stop. We do here at HBR TV, whereas NBC and the like, they don't. I don't know why, but the track calls it turn 10, which is where we're at right now, but when you watch it on TV, it's turn 6.
That is strange. I never understood why they did that.
It wasn't always the case either. That's a relatively new thing the last couple of years. So let's ride on board here with the 28. This is the driver's eye cam, George Rincon. Walk us through this lap, Zach.
Well, right here, you're going to want to stay to the right so you can shoot back up the hill to the left and keep that momentum. The speed coming down this backstretch is just paramount to a lap time. So if you can stay wide open, that is going to be the key. And of course, we're going to get up to the bus stop here. You're going to want to hit your marks just right. I usually like to keep it in 3rd gear here, shoot the curb, be close to the wall as possible without hitting that arm coax. If you hit that, you're dead, Steve. And then you can kind of coast through this carousel here. You're going to want to stay on the bottom. You can hook your right front tire on that rumble strip. It's going to kind of keep you down there. It's got immense grip down there. It's insane. Of course, wide open down the back here. When you hit your brake mark, there's nothing really to look at, so it's kind of tricky right there. I usually keep it in 3rd right here, and
Real shallow exit there.
Yeah, you know, this last turn here, qualifying effort, I was going 2nd gear, but race pace, I'm sticking it in 3rd and just leaving it, and it was a little smoother.
Dylan Bryant was on the top for a moment, then it was Bittner, now Osborne with a 113. Doesn't last long. Craig Goodenough, a minute 12.9, finishing up that lap down into turn number 1.
Second lap, I'd expect to be a little quicker.
Bott's first lap, minute 13.21. 5th quick so far. Top time so far, minute 12.906. That's the Craig Goodenough machine.
And that's what you want to do, Steve. You want to hit that decent lap time, lap 1. That way you can kind of go for it that 2nd lap.
A little mistake, a little too much curb there on that first left, it looked like.
Like it carried good speed out of the carousel.
Meanwhile, top time Sean McDonald out of Canada, 12.69. Bott finishes up with a 12.69 himself. I'm sorry, McDonald was a 12.87. That 69 was the 33. So he's currently on the provisional pole for the time being. Pope finishes up, best time a minute 13.204. Lap 1 being the quickest. Pope just going to turn some more laps, get some more practice in. A lot of these guys not real familiar with road racing. Typically, they're just accustomed to turning left every week, but once in a blue moon, you get a road course thrown into the schedule. Of course, Watkins Glen, the most familiar to these drivers, as it's the one most consistently run in iRacing officials.
Yeah, usually guys come into the road courses and just want to survive the thing. But
I mean, that's kind of how it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you just survive the race, though, if you just stay out of trouble, sometimes you're almost guaranteed a top 10.
New top time on the board. Dan Eaton a minute 12.46. Dustin Eaton, that is. Real loose through the S's. Derek Welch hanging that truck out through turn 3 and 4. Not lifting, though.
Tell you one guy that's put the practice in this week, Steve DW. He put up, I think, 3 or 4, like 10 hours practice session, and I jumped in there with him a few times, and he was putting the laps in, man. I'm going to be excited to see how he does tonight.
Well, that's the thing. It's like when I first started racing and iRacing myself, I was okay on the oval stuff, but I really did well on road courses. I guess that's living within proximity of this racetrack and growing up coming to this track for whether it's NASCAR or sports car races, you just kind of get an inkling for how it's done. And everybody always asks, well, what makes you so fast? I'm like, man, I don't know. Just put in the laps. You got to do it over and over and over again. Of course, if you're making mistakes, you gotta clean those up one corner at a time.
Yeah, repetition.
Welch first lap, fifth quick, minute 12:95. Qualifying wraps up here. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to step aside here. We'll be back with our starting grid and then green flag after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Just don't know where that baby of mine. Well, I just don't know.
Back at Watkins Glen International, field ready to go here, gridding up on the front straightaway. Let's take a look at it. Our starting grid for race number 5 of the Vigilante Racing League. On the pole position with a lap time of 1 minute 12.457 seconds. It's the number 14 of Dustin Eaton. Outside, front row, the 21 of Derek Welch. Missed it by almost 0.2 of a second. We'll see if he can work some strategy to take this one tonight. Row number 2, it's Alan Vaught and Sean McDonald. Row 3 goes to Craig Goodenough and Jonathan Osborne. Row number 4, it's Ricky Wittenberg and Tim Pope. Starting in the 9th position, it's George Rincon, and the number 28 and 10th goes to the 18 of Chris Klein.
11th place, we've got Andrew Player. 12th place, Greg Klein. 13th, Dylan Bryant. 14th, Josh Bittner. 15th place, we got Andrew Cawthon. 16th, John McAdam. 17th place, Kyle Vaught, followed by John Gallagher. 19th, we've got Dave Mayberry. And then 20th, we've got Chandler Paul.
21st starter is the 3 of Austin Paul. Deion Jones will start 22nd. Kevin Hunt 23rd. 24th goes to Anthony Williams. 25th starter will be Albert Anderson. He hates this place, but he'll get it done either way. 26th starter is Scott Roney. Trevor Robertson 27th. Jack Dixon 28th. 29th starter is the 01 of Kelly Cool. Dustin Wade will start the 30th position. 31st, Russ Kilgore and shotgun on the field in the 32nd position will be Greg Dobson out of Canada in the 085 machine. It's your starting grid here from Watkins Glen International Field. Just about done gridding up here at the start-finish line. Should be rolling momentarily.
Man, what a league, Steve. You know, VRL's really got it going on. 32 trucks here at Watkins Glen.
These guys have been impressive each and every week. They've had a couple of barn burner finishes in the last 4 races. Photo finish last week, photo finish 2 weeks ago. It's been a blast to watch.
Yeah, the trucks really help the racing. You know, you hate to say they're easier to drive than some of the other, vehicles like the Xfinity, for an example. But I mean, they really allow you to push it, and I think it allows for better racing.
Take again the race details tonight. 55 laps the distance. Track length 2.42. Well, it's really 2.45. I guess it depends on where you measure. Track temp has come down and cooled off to 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Unlimited tire sets over the wall, so no tire strategy to be concerned with, but fuel could be the question. 16 to 19 laps on a full load of fuel. You're going to see a couple of pit stops here tonight for sure. Drivers run with no fast repair and typically one green-white checkered finish if necessary.
Well, Steve, it's that time.
Oh, we got to pick drivers.
That's right.
Is it even fair? I mean, we are on a tape delay. We kind of already know.
Well, I guess that does make a difference.
I'll be honest. I know Derek Welch has put in the effort and the work in the last year or so. He's really gotten to be a better road racer. But I can tell you that I probably would have picked the 14 of Dustin Eaton coming in, so I guess I'll go with that route.
Well, I mean, I hate to spoil that, but even if we didn't know the outcome here, Steve, I did a bunch of laps with old DW there, so I probably would have went with him regardless, but I mean, hundreds of laps we've done, so I know he's got the pace, I know he's going to look at the big picture of this race. I think I would have went with him regardless.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, you put the laps in the practice sessions this week, so you know what he's capable of, consistency-wise, lap time-wise, but does he have the ability to work the strategy tonight? That's really what we're going to be looking at. We know he's gotten better at the actual craft of getting that truck around this place, but we'll see if he can make it work, because Eaton's going to be hard to guard.
Oh, definitely. He's going to make him earn it.
Field through turn 11. Pace truck is going to pull down pit lane. There's the hard right. As we come to the start-finish line, Barney, the flagman, with the green in hand. Dustin Eaton brings him down. Green flag in the air. We're racing from Watkins Glen. Alan Vaught right to the back bumper, has to check up and go wide just a bit to avoid contact with the 14 into turn number 1. Seems like everybody's through cleanly, though. Funnel up single file into turn 2, up the hill through the S's, the left-hand turn number 3, wide open. Accelerator matted to the floor from turn 2 all the way down into the bus stop where they'll jump on the brakes hard.
Old tires going to make this bus stop awfully entertaining. Let's see what happens.
Eaton maintains the lead out of the carousel. Alan Vaught about 5 trucks behind the number 14. He's just about finishing up lap number 1, left-hand turn number 10. Eaton nice and smooth. Vaught looking smooth as well. Derek Welch running back in the 3rd position.
Nice clean opening lap for these guys. Now it's about time to get into that rhythm and minimize mistakes at any possibility.
Pass for position. Craig Goodenough gets to the inside of Derek Welch. Welch now back a couple of positions from the drop of the green flag. Remember, started outside pole.
VW wisely kind of stayed in line there. It's really hard to go up the S's side by side. You kill your momentum so much, you basically allow all the trucks behind you to catch right up to you.
Welch real late on the brakes, catches a lot of ground back up on Goodenough, but you see Craig can get back to the gas a little sooner and stretches that back out into the carousel. Welch runs a little wide there in the carousel exit. We saw personally this year at the Glen, we walked the racetrack, I think it was Thursday or Friday, and the track itself has gone to some lengths here to try and prevent that from being possible. They dug some pretty hefty, I guess you could call them rumble strips, very similar to what you'd see on the highway, but much deeper and much bigger. Didn't seem to really affect the Cup cars this year. They were able to drive right over it without really any issues. We'll see if any of those changes are made, A, in iRacing this year, or if it gets even more aggressive in real life next year at the Glen.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to watch live, Steve. You know, the Cup cars, you could see in like the practices, they were kind of, trying it out to see what it would do to the car, see if it would upset it. But come race time, they were using it, and it was actually an advantage.
Yeah, in some cases. I think we saw SVG down in turn 1 because they did the same thing on the runoff there. He was taking the race car all the way out to the Armco before turning right into turn number 2. I don't know if you're going to see that again this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see, but yeah, road course legend, he gets every little bit of grip you can get.
For those newcomers watching tonight, SVG is Shane Van Gisbergen. Now you understand why we say SVG.
Definitely.
All you drivers in the VRL watch party, if you want to jump in the chat, feel free to do so. We'd love to hear from everybody. Not too often you get a chance to get together to watch these races after you've already participated in them. Change for position here as the 13 jumps to the inside. That's Andrew Player taking a spot away from the 28 of George Rincon. This for the 8th position. Player now has it. Up front, though, Eaton continuing to stretch the advantage over Alan Vaught. 1.9 seconds the advantage back to the 33 machine. We talked about it last week at the end of the race about the road course coming up and how Dustin Eaton's kind of the road course king in this league. Certainly proving that thus far.
Yeah, I think he's definitely found his rhythm that last lap time, 12:4:18. So he's definitely in the rhythm and putting the laps in.
Best time so far, it is that 1:12:41 out of Eaton. That's probably, I believe, faster than he ran in qualifying. We got Derek Welch in the chat, Lori Vaught in the chat. Thanks for saying hi, guys. Eaton had a bit of a moment there off turn 11. Didn't come all the way up to the rumble strip there, but the rear end of the truck stepped out just a hair. Had to correct. I know that corner, Zach, doesn't look like much, that turn 11, but it is tricky to nail. And if you get it wrong, you're going to find yourself pushing the truck into that outside safer barrier in a hurry.
Yeah, and even if you check up to not hit it, it kills your momentum going down the straightaway so much. It really kills your lap time.
Checking some other battles through the field. We watch the 47 of John McAdam trailing Trevor Robertson in the 6th. Robertson in 13th. Something new we started to see here, especially here when the trucks get off into the grass, the most recent iRacing update, they've added 3D models for the grass, but also changed their particle modeling. So the dust and the dirt and the debris that the trucks kick up when they get off course, it does fly up into the air, and it will eventually stay out on the racetrack and become a traction hazard for some of the drivers.
Yeah, it was quite the update. I did a race at Indianapolis last week, and the opening lap behind the pace car was like a dust storm. It was pretty incredible.
Dylan Bryant running in the 10th spot. And again, Zach, I got to echo your comments about this league and the car counts that they've got each and every week. I mean, we talked about how these guys are traditionally oval racers only. Very often you'd get into a racing league like this, and guys will see that one road course, and they'll say, yeah, I'm going to take a week off. I'm not doing that this time. I can't do this. I'm not good at it. It's just frustrating. But we still got a 32 truck field that took the green flag. Looks like 31. I think Dustin Wade didn't take the green, but that's pretty solid numbers on a road course.
Yeah, you love to see it, man. And it's, you know, sometimes even when you get a decent sized field, a lot of people do the one lap, pull over and say, all right, that's enough. But yeah, everybody's out here still ripping.
Just watching Eaton get down into turn number 1. Next time he goes cross start finish, we're going to switch to an in-car view of the 14. He's really aggressive, yanking that wheel to the right down into turn 1. The back of the truck steps out just a hair. I mean, that's really how you do it. You're kind of setting the truck on the left rear, on the left side of the, as far as the weight transfer is concerned, to really get that truck to turn. Additionally, using a lot of brake to send that weight transfer to the nose of the race truck, so the wheels that steer the vehicle have the most weight on them. As soon as you let off the brake, though, in many cases, you'll lose the traction in that left front when you're making those right turns. So how do you set up turn 1 there, Zach? I mean, it's probably one of the most important corners on the track.
You know, there's a caution light on the left side, and it's pretty close to my braking point, so I kind of stare at that until it's time to brake. And actually, you know, I got this advice from you, Steve. Don't take the right turn until you're sure you can straight shot it through and get back to the gas completely.
Yeah, Eaton's getting on the brakes just past that light.
There it is, right there, straight through there, right to the rumble. Make that corner as straight as possible and carry the speed. I like how he stays on the right side rumble strip there, because it straightens up that left turn going up the hill.
Wide open. 172 miles an hour in the speed trap before hard braking into the bus stop. Just under 100 miles an hour through one of the slowest parts of the track. Got one car off.
He was going to go take the boot.
Yeah. That was Chandler Paul. Yes, indeed. Paul trying to get righted here still. Oh, he made some contact.
Ooh, yeah, that truck is in big trouble.
Go back quickly and try to get a look at this. Well, that's pre-existing damage, and then he just loses it.
Boy, you couldn't have spun out in a better spot there, though.
Let's go back further. Oh, this is up to turn 2. Turn 4, yeah, this tank slapped it on the exit of the S's.
Yeah, that's what the Armco can do to you, Steve. Not very forgiving.
Welch still running back in the 4th position here. I think he's got to be on a fuel strategy here because he's had so much more pace in practice. Of course, he was fast in qualifying. I honestly think he's got enough pace to be running second right now. I mean, Alan Vaught, Craig Goodenough, both good drivers out there. Certainly, they can get it done. And ovals, road course doesn't seem to really matter. But I think Welch has the pace to go up there and contend with those guys, and he's just holding it back.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, fuel first. If you can't make it to where you got to get to, it's everything else you do is irrelevant.
The old strategy motto that a lot of these road racers used to go with is be the first driver to pit last. And I'll let that marinate for everybody for a little bit. But if you think about it, it does make sense. I like that. I want to give a call here to Trevor Robertson in that 6 machine. We've been watching him a bit, but he's made some serious forward progress. He's up 14 positions to this point. Back started in 27th. Only 10 laps in. That's a lot of passes to be made in 10 laps at Watkins Glen.
Absolutely. There's another one you see. Just gets on the brakes later and throws it down the inside. That was well done.
And it cost him a little bit on exit, but he's set up for the inside for the right-hander turn 11, so it still worked out in the end. Cawthon losing some spots here. Now the 18 of Chris Klein working to the outside. We'll see how Chris can make this work. Cawthon could really inhibit the entry for the 18. And there you see it. That's the advantage of having that defensive line.
You see the 18 kind of peek out there. It's tough to see your marks, on the entries for these turns if you're tucked right up behind another truck.
10 laps in here from Watkins Glen. We're going to step aside, get a short break out of the way. We'll be back before the round of pit stops. After this, stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's
inside. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As that's still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh,
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Back at Watkins Glen International, Dustin Eaton still with the race lead from pole position. He's led every lap to this point. Just begun lap 14. Again, fuel window 16 to 19 laps. You might see some guys stretch it a little further. We'll see if it comes to that. But as of right now, no one really making any pit stops to speak of other than those that might have been involved in any incidents.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how long these guys stretch this fuel, because I mean, technically, if they go 18 laps every time, it's only going to get them to lap 54. So we'll see.
And if you're wondering why you haven't seen a caution come out, there's reason for that. On these road courses, at least in iRacing, a lot of times they do not run full course caution. So if somebody crashes, we're not stuck following a pace car for 3 minutes a lap. Run local yellows only. It also helps the race complete in a reasonable amount of time. For reference, just keep in mind, a full-length Cup Series event here at the Glen, 90 laps. We're running 55-lap race distance here today, so just past half a Cup race. Honestly, I almost would have gone 62 laps to make it an even 200 miles, but...
Well, if it was up to me, Steve, we'd do 200 laps.
Well, yeah.
Then do it again.
That'd take a while. Top 4 really unchanged here. Dustin Eaton, Alan Vaught, Craig Goodenough, Derek Welch. Ricky Wittenberger, though, got his hands full. 23 is Sean McDonald, all over the tailgate, and then Tim Pope there as well. McDonald, one of the neighbors to the north.
Pretty much our actual neighbor, Steve. We're so close.
For you, for sure.
Yeah. And look across the river and probably see his house. Upper family in the chat. What's up, guys?
Sean McDonald making the move on the exit at turn 1 up through the S's, takes the spot. McDonald now into the top 5 for the first time.
Very nicely timed pass going up through the S's.
You really got to get it done there, but it kind of goes back to what we were talking about the entry down into turn number 1 and how important turn 1 is really to your whole lap. A lot of guys charge that corner, trying to dive it in there to make a pass, but then you sacrifice effectively half of your lap in doing so, because if you get a slow exit in turn 1, you're going to be slow to turn 2, turn 3, all the way out through the S's, the backstretch before you get into turn, well, the bus stop, I guess you could say, before you hammer down on the brakes. Then you get another opportunity to get back on the throttle, but then you got the carousel and yet another straightaway. So very high-speed road course. Call it the super speedway of road courses, because, man, they're getting it done. 2.5 miles. Current Cup car, they're lapping around here under a minute 10.
Yeah, you're just hanging on. That is so fast.
So Wittenberg lost the spot to McDonald here. Now he's worried about the 7 of Tim Pope, who Whether it's on a road course or an oval, it doesn't really seem to matter. He just bides his time in the top 10, quietly works his way through, and usually by the end of these things, he's up near the top 10, top 5, top 3 in many cases. That was kind of what we saw last week. He was out the back of the pack, and then there you go. At the very end of the thing, he was right there. I want to thank you guys for tuning in here in the stream chat. We've got some chatters there. Obviously, Virtual Vigilante Racing Network, Tucker Family, Down and Dirty, Dixon's Racing Team. If you guys can help us out too, hit that like button. It helps the stream push us out to some wider audiences, some fresh eyeballs to see the channel and the league itself. It's a big time help. If you haven't already subscribed, keyword, if you have not already subscribed, go ahead and click that button as well. We're getting close. I think we're at 945 subscribers right now. Just trying to crack that 1,000 mark. I don't think we're going to get there in the next 2 weeks, but first quarter of 25 for sure.
That's a heck of an accomplishment, Steve. 1,000 subscribers, man. That's awesome. We'll see. Hopefully it's hit pretty soon.
Wittenberg doing a good job staying out in front of Pope. So we got some pit stops underway. Alan Vaught, Dustin Eaton, good enough. Derek Welch will actually inherit the top spot here.
This is interesting, Steve. Lap 18, they're going to have to stretch that extra lap here. One of these last 2 runs.
So pit stops for Eaton, 14.6, then 14.5 for Vaught, good enough for 14.95.
This is the fun part too, Steve. Now you got the trucks with fresh tires and a little bit more pace. Some of the front line trucks, now they're tucked up behind some of the trucks in the pack, so it's going to create for some racing here.
Oh, some close quarters and some traffic here down the back straightaway, side by side into the bus stop. It's not impossible, but it's not easy. They single it out just in time. Meanwhile, Derek Welch now pulls it down pit lane. Many drivers to follow. Sean McDonald, Tim Pope, Ricky Wittenberg, all going to come down. So Welch making his stop here. Just starts lap 19. So 18 laps on the track. And again, that includes the pace lap at 2.5 miles. So that makes a difference.
Going to have to get a hold of DW and fix that pit board. Put something a little better on there.
4 tires and fuel for Derek Welch. He drops the jack and it's back in action. 14.70 second stop. Another good stop. Very tight times in the pits for our top 5 drivers, all within a tenth or two of each other. Welch after his stop back in the 6th position. Then George Rincon will take over the top spot. Rincon and Bryan able to stretch it to a full 19-lap run. And Rincon now going to hit pit lane. I would assume Bryant will join him. Bryant's about 10 seconds in the rears, though, so he's got some time before he's back to pit lane. Going into the box, nice and easy. Alan Vaught's going to take over the top spot after the pit cycle. So Rincon, 14.85, 4 tires, Sunoco race fuel is back in action as well. And Dylan Bryant, same thing. Now, if you look at this, you got to keep in mind, it's a clockwise race. So they're going to pit these trucks opposite what you typically see on the ovals. That can be challenging, not only for the pit crew itself, but the driver getting it into the pit box when you're so used to making a quick left to get into the box. Now it's a quick right. If you get too close to that pit wall, the pit crew cannot change tires on that side of the truck. So it's something they do need to practice in the practice sessions to make sure they've got it right.
It's such a pain if you get in that pit box and you're too far left, too far right. and it's almost like going back to driver's ed to try to parallel park in the right spot. It cost you up to 20 seconds on pit road trying to fix it.
Trevor Robertson now in top 10. He's had a strong run here today, now up 17 positions. Back out front, Alan Vaught still with the race lead. He's got Craig Goodenough in the second position. Eaton went from the race lead back to third through that cycle of pit stops. I'm not sure exactly what it was, short of the pit lane time itself. See if I can display that data here. Yes, I can. So take a look at the timing tower. Vaught was a 45.9 total pit time. Craig Goodenough was a 46.1. Doesn't look like a lot. It's only a couple of tenths, but it does matter. But further down the line, Dustin Eaton, 46.4, so a half second slower in the pits by comparison. Seemingly all it took to get Eaton back in that third spot. See if he can regroup here and make some passes and some progress forward. Welch, though, hanging out of the fourth position, though now on a better fuel strategy, went one lap further than the current top three. That will magnify itself through the next round of pit stops, and then it will translate to effectively 2 laps unless he can save even more.
Yeah, it'd be kind of the perfect strategy, wouldn't it? If you can stretch it this middle stint, and then you can kind of go like hell that last stint, just kind of send it.
I gotta say, it's been a pleasure so far watching this thing. A lot of times you get in these leagues, and again, we talked about it so many times, how they're so oval-centric in a lot of these leagues. They don't run a ton of road courses. Usually there's one, maybe 2 guys out there that have some road racing prowess, and they usually just walk away from the field. Right now, our top 3 separated by 1.2 seconds after 22 laps and a green flag pit stop. That's impressive. And again, don't count out Derek Welch running back there in fourth, and of course, Sean McDonald working his way up through the top 5. Down 1 spot.
Something else you love to see, too, those top 3 trucks, Steve. That last time around this track, all 3 trucks were within a half a tenth of each other. It's pretty incredible.
Toyota certainly showing its strength here on the road courses. 4 out of the top 5 cars, or trucks in this case, Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. That Ford F-150 of Alan Vaught continuing to lead. Dustin Eaton getting closer and closer here to Craig Goodenough. If he maintains that distance, he might be setting him up for a pass, whether it's turn 10 or turn 1. He's got to gain a couple of car lengths here through the carousel. We'll see if he can get it done.
He's in a really good spot right here, Steve. If you wanted to save that gas, it's easier to chase the rabbit in front of you and, hit the lines even if you have the ignition off and coasting.
Eaton's gotten closer with a truck length and a half, maybe 2 here through turn 11. I don't think he's gonna drive it real deep into 1 to make a pass here. I think you're right. He might just be trying to save a little. I know we don't have any full course cautions, but man, it'd be kind of neat to see a restart right now.
When I'm up in the booth, I don't mind it. But if I'm out there on track, that's the last thing I want to see.
Right. You gotta convince Lori, next road course race, do a comp caution at halfway. And less fuel. And less tires.
Like no sense. Just 1 set.
For this race, yeah, you can get away with 1 set of tires for a 55 lapper. It'll be a handful at the end, but you can do it.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Or even just 2. I mean, 3 total, because you got the set you start the race on and 2 sets over the wall. Really force the guys to manage them a little bit. Some lap traffic in the mix here. It's going to allow Eaton to close the gap a little further on Craig Goodenough. We thought Eaton would be in position to make that pass a lap ago, but a lap later, still in behind the 89 machine. Derek Welch seemingly appears to look like the stalking cat in the Serengeti right now, just quietly sitting there in 4th place, watching the top 3 out ahead. It takes so much discipline to not hammer down and just go after those guys. In Derek's case especially, knowing that he's got pace, he can hang with those guys. So Laurie Vaught says, I usually get bored on the road course, but I'm enjoying this one. Had some good mid and backpack battles as well. He's got Vigilante Racing Network. Says, I think DW had an unfair advantage. Professional coaching from Mr. Millett. Protest. Even further, looks like Laurie's going to add a single stage for the next road course. That's cool and interesting.
Oh, now there's an idea.
Mayberry?
Yeah, Dave's idea. That's a great idea.
Invert the field.
Oh, man, can you imagine?
Or a random invert, so that way you don't have anybody sandbagging.
That would be awesome.
Broadcaster decides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, while we get the chance here, let's try to go through the field the best that we can. Alan Vaught, your race leader, started in the 3rd spot, but that seems to be a continuing pattern. Vaught up in the top 3 and now leading this race. Again, to no one's surprise, he's certainly talented behind the wheel, that number 33. Eaton, however, has made the pass on Craig Goodenough, gets up into that 2nd spot. Pole sitter here tonight. Race favorite to win as we came into this evening. We'll see if he can pull it off. Craig Goodenough, comfortable in the 3rd spot. It's where he started. It's where he remains. Derek Welch started outside pole. Appears to be on a strategy run here. Trying to save fuel, take care of the tires, not get them too hot. Be ready to go when it's time, but now is not the time. Tim Pope up 3 spots. Finally cracked the top 5 for the 7. So keep a close eye on him. Doesn't matter where we go, as we said earlier, oval or road course, he's going to be a factor before it's out. Sean McDonald, again, out of Canada, running in the 6th spot, started 4th. Almost got the wall there out of turn 11. Andrew Player running in the 7th position in the number 13 truck. Up 4 spots. And maybe a change for position there. Looks like Ricky Wittenberger was going to go for the move there to get to the inside. Stays tucked in behind, but Wittenberg running in the 8th position. George Rincon in the 28, currently 9th, started 9th. Solid day so far, running in behind. It's at the 47 to 51. That's the 47 to McAdam. John Osborne in the 10th spot. Trevor Robertson, we talked about a bunch, running in the 11th position in that number 6 truck. He's still up 16 positions. I don't believe Robertson opted to qualify this week. Let's take a look at that, actually, if we can. Qualifying results. Yeah, Robertson did not take a time. Started to field 27.
Well, he's definitely been putting the work in. He's moving right up through this field.
Dylan Bryant running in 12th in the Band of Steel number 51. Greg Klein, the 92, runs 13th, also where he started. Chris Klein is 14th, started 10th. Andrew Coffin running in the 15th position, also where he started. Scott Roney up 10 spots to 16th. Fireball.
I was thinking the same thing.
John Gallagher in 17th. First truck 1 lap down. And no cautions to speak of here, so he's not likely to get a lucky dog unless something crazy happens. For those of your lead lap trucks, in the first a lap down, that is the 123 of Gallagher. About 5 laps shy of some pit stops here again. A lot of drivers came down 17, lap 18 in that range, so a handful more. We're going to see another round of stops possibly. Vigilante Racing Network jumping in, says a lot of debris in turn 11 from the gravel trap. Definitely felt it in the race. Turn 11, maybe he's thinking turn 10. I think turn 11 doesn't have a trap.
Yeah, it's got to be turn 10 there. Yeah, I can imagine.
There's a big kitty box in turn 10.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once you go in there, you're not coming out.
29 laps complete here, just past halfway. We're going to take a short break again before green flag stops. Stay with us. We'll be back after this, but we're going to go side by side so you don't miss a moment of the action. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Watkins Glen International, Alan Vaught continuing to lead over the 14 of Dustin Eaton. Eaton trailing by just over half a second down the short chute into turn number 10. 32 laps are just about to be complete as they enter that final right-hand corner. This is the corner that they were talking about here in Vigilante Racing Network. It was indeed the debris that was being deposited there in that final corner was from guys running wide in turn 10, carrying that. And it's rather realistic if you think about it. Many times you see a truck or a car get off into the gravel trap there on the exit of turn number 10, and you have to see them shake the car left and right to try and free up all the gravel and stones that get caught up into the bodywork of the race truck.
I'm telling you, man, that's so cool. I mean, everybody calls it a simulation. I mean, it's pretty darn simulated. I love it.
Well, that's the thing, too, with iRacing is year after year, and it's not every update, but many updates, they continually try to improve the graphical quality, of what you're seeing, trying to make it that much more realistic. Obviously, in essence, yes, it is still technically a game at the end of the day, but trying to make it as close as possible. And we still got plenty of legitimate NASCAR drivers out there that use the service, whether it's to learn the racetrack or just get repetitions before they jump into maybe the factory simulator that they have at the shop.
I love it when they come out with something graphic related, but it affects the driving at the same time. Like the particles in the sand and everything gets scattered out in the track, but then when you hit that spot, the back end will step out on you. I love that.
Yeah, you can see it right there, just to the left of that white line, past the rumble strips. There's a little bit of dust and dirt sitting there, and that does affect the grip level as the trucks get out of that corner.
And it changes every lap when these cars go over top of it. That's the coolest part.
Crystal Milano in the chat. Is that Millet in the booth? Indeed it is, and it's Millet with 2 T's.
Present.
Watt continuing to lead here. Eaton has closed the gap here, but just quietly stalking the 33. Again, is this another scenario where you think maybe Eaton's finally deciding, okay, let's try and get a lap saved here so I don't lose too much here to the 21?
Yeah, I've seen the lap times kind of climb a little bit. I don't know, a lot of 14s. I mean, third and fourth place running kind of mid 14s. They might be saving a little bit more. I mean, it's really hard for Allen here because, I mean, I imagine he kind of wants to keep the lead here, but, trying to save and keep the lead are two very difficult things. You see Eaton kind of run wide there in 10.
Checking out Albert Anderson, the number 99. Talk about a guy that absolutely despises road racing. He is the epitome of that, but he's still out there trucking, running the 21st spot. He's made some progress forward. He's picked up 4 spots, so not a wasted effort by any means.
Yeah, no matter the track, man, Albert's going to get out there, give it his all, and be consistent. He's always one to be reckoned with, and he may or may not have a brand new paint for next week.
May or may not. Interesting. Kind of like this throwback, this Country Time Lemonade scheme. I know Bobby Hamilton Jr. ran it, not Jr., Bobby Sr. ran a Country Time scheme back in the day. I don't think this one's it, though. I think this is a Mikey Waltrip version.
Yeah, the colors pop.
Good looking truck. Trevor Robertson in the 6 is going to hit pit lane. About where we expected, lap 35.
Well, it's going to make it tough, though, Steve. 20 laps.
Yeah, if you're out of fuel, though, you're out of fuel. Alan Vaught going to make a pit stop here. Derek Welch will inherit the top spot. Eaton maintains second, but Eaton is also in the pits. So is Craig Goodenough. So we've got to thank Alan for providing the replay. That's why you see his pit crew here changing these tires. Typically, that's not the case. You will never see the crew out there changing them. It's just too much for these computers to process. And we got 32 trucks down there doing it all at the same time. But at least one will pop up.
One day, Steve.
Yeah, it'll get there. It'll get there for sure at some point. I have no doubt about it. Real quick stop for the 33, though, 14:45. It's back in action. Welch stays out. I wouldn't be shocked to see him go another lap or two.
It would be ideal.
Never mind. Makes a liar out of me. Welch from the lead into pit lane.
Spider-Man paint scheme, that thing's sweet.
Still not quite enough to get all the way to the end. So Welch may need a splash and go before this one's over. See if Vaught can cycle back through here. Allen picked up a few spots. Guys that are in the pit, still some drivers yet to come down the top three. McDonald, Wittenberg, and Rincon making their stops last at lap 18, 18, and then 19. Still expect them to make their visit to pit lane here very soon, if not this time by. And the race leader, Sean McDonald, come down and pit. Just so you guys know, the column on the right side right now is up and displayed. That is the last pit stop the drivers made, their pit time, how long they spent actually in the pit box. And then we change it to L35, L36. This tells you when they've made their last pit stop. So Alan Vaught into turn number one, back into the top five. So through that exchange of stops, Dustin Eaton back out in front. Craig Goodenough runs second. Derek Welch, though, is jumped up into P3. He's gained some time on the 33. We're getting word from our track spotters out there that Vaught had an issue into the bus stop prior to the pit stop. So there's where some time was lost, certainly, for the 33. I don't have it showing up here in the event recording, so unfortunately can't go back to watch it. But we did see it the other night in reviewing this race prior to the broadcast, and he was inches away from making pretty significant contact with that safer barrier into the bus stop. Got lucky to save the race truck, but is regrouped, of course, still in the top five, so Vaught, not all is lost, but 10 seconds behind the race leader.
Well, it's so tough to kind of get back in the rhythm after doing something like that, you know, it kind of shakes you.
And it forces your strategy to change. It's like if you've got the pace to catch up, well, now you just got to use it. You can't be worried about trying to save fuel. You just got to go, get all you can.
Speaking about not saving fuel, the top two trucks just ran almost identical lap times at a 1:12.6. One was a 6:3, the other was a 6:2, and they're not saving gas. They are flying.
Yeah, Dustin Eaton's going to come in and pit.
Oh, this is going to be a little top off, maybe.
This is interesting.
I think they were trying to put the pace in so they can kind of escape a little bit, come down here, top off.
Yeah, because
back out.
Eaton pit at lap 35, and now he's back in.
The long pit road, though. I mean, you lose so much track position. Well, the years at NTRL, I'm getting that shadow box.
Yeah. There it is. You're right, though, Zach. Splash and go. Get back out there in the mix rather than wait till the bitter end to do it.
Now let's see where they cycle out here, though, because I'm currently showing Eaton at roughly almost 22 seconds behind the leader.
At 21.6 in 5th. But again, Welch is going to need to make that top off, too.
I don't know if he will, because he's got that extra lap kind of banked.
Yeah, but that's 19 laps on a tank of fuel. That's crazy.
I think he went 19 the first one. What did he go the second one? I've already lost track.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because if he stretched at another 19 that middle stint, he could definitely make it the last 18. And he just ran a 12.8 that last lap, so he might be good to go, Steve.
Last lap for Welch, yeah, minute 12.830. Vaught now back up into the second position, with some drivers stopping to top off the tank. Tim Pope up to third, McDonald fourth. Eaton remains fifth, but again, has the fuel now to go to the end. The question will remain is if Derek Welch needs to make one more stop, or if he's been able to save enough throughout the course of this race to make it all the way to the end on this tank of fuel. It'd be a very well-played strategic move if he can get it done.
Boy, it'd be great for the 33 truck too, after that simple mistake. If he can, make it till the end, finish P2, that's pretty fantastic. And look who's in third, Tim Pope.
Well, that's, again, to no one's surprise. I mean, Tim Pope, you don't see a whole lot out of him throughout 75, 80, 90% of the race, but when it comes down to that pay window being open, he's usually right there. See, Eden and Goodenough have made 3 stops, so they've finished up. They both made a splash and go pit stop for fuel only, so they can make it to the end. Just about everybody else there, you see in the top 20, 2 stops to this point. I'm pretty sure I just heard Derek shut the car off. Let's ride on board with the 21 of Derek Welch here. I'm surprised with all this fuel conservation talk that we've had. We haven't used the words lift and coast yet. Let's see if he's doing it. Not here, he's not. Grabs a gear to get the truck to rotate a bit.
I bet you the key spots are going to be about the bus stop and that carousel.
Albert Anderson, wow, the 99 just turned the fastest lap. That guy's a beast on road courses.
What a legend.
All right, so Welch, no lift and coast into 1.
Lap time did pick up for the first and second position truck, being a 15.2 and a 15.7, so definitely in conservation.
Yeah, you look at Pope and McDonald, they're running 13.1 and 12.8.
Oh yeah, they're flying.
Yeah, there's a big lift and coast, yep. And that's an uphill run. It might be hard to tell from this perspective, but the back straightaway is uphill. Doesn't go back downhill till right about here. And honestly, this perspective, it really doesn't show. That corner is pretty well banked. There's another lift and coast into turn 10. So let's talk about that lift and coast. And Zach, you've gone as far as to lift coast and kill the engine as well and refire it just on the momentum of the truck. But what they're effectively doing here is they're lifting off the gas earlier than they normally would if they were just going to use the brakes. Let the car coast, or the truck for that matter, while they've got the clutch pushed in. So at worst, they're just running at idle. So they're consuming far less fuel than if they were just running a typical lap. Some guys, as I said, will lift, coast, push in the clutch, and shut the truck completely off. So you're not using any fuel whatsoever. It is a little tricky to get a hold of, but you can really extend the fuel window if you do that.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. it's really hard to say, like in the bus stop's a good example to hit your marks braking, because your speed's totally different than what you're doing if you're just under power normally.
Chris Klein going to go to the inside of Welch here. Not a pass for position, but Welch being in fuel save mode, certainly not turning the laps at pace that he was familiar with earlier in practice and qualifying. Last lap for DW, 16:58. Alan Vaught pretty much same thing, maybe a couple of tenths quicker, but both of those drivers in the front of the field conserving big time, trying to make this one all the way to the end, making a two-stop race.
And there is a thing too, Steve, like you could save too much here. I mean, if you slow your pace down too much, these guys with enough gas to make it for sure, they're going to come up flying behind you, and they're not that far behind.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Eaton and Goodenough, that's their strategy right now. They're 5th and 6th, but they've got enough fuel. They don't need to worry about it.
11 laps left. They got plenty of time. DW misses turn 1 there.
And that goes to a lot of that trickiness of trying to save fuel the way that you really have to on these road courses. That lift and coast that we've talked about is it takes your rhythm and just throws it in the garbage. You've almost got to reset and relearn how to operate this. As I said, you talked about it earlier getting into turn number 1, that brake marker is that caution light on the left-hand side mounted to the catch fence. Well, when you're lifting and coasting, you're going far deeper than that on the brakes, but you're lifting way, way earlier. You're just going to carry the momentum further down into the corner. And if you don't have a good reference point to where that, quote, new brake marker is, you can run wide. And that's what happened to DW that last lap.
The engine braking really comes into play, too. I mean, as you're downshifting through the gears, that's helping you stop. So if you got the clutch and, maybe ignition off, it's a little worse on the braking.
100%. Welch through turn 11. Alan Vaught just exiting turn 10, so that's the difference first to second. Doesn't look like much, but it's 6 full seconds here with 10 laps to go. Current top 3, though, Derek Welch, Alan Vaught, and Tim Pope. Beautiful shot. Again, all these cameras here, custom cameras provided by Whiplash SimCams. Same camera packets he featured over at Pit Stop TV. Andrew's the creator, I guess, for these customizable cameras. He's got some real-world experience with shooting races in person, behind the lens. He knows what he's doing, does a great job. So if you've got a broadcast platform, you're looking for a custom camera pack, check those guys out, Whiplash SimCams. Find them on Facebook, even Discord. If you strike out and you can't find them, touch base with me. We'll get you fixed up.
Yep, Andrew's the man.
May have a battle here for third here if things continue the way that they are. Race laps ticking down with Pope there in that third spot still, but McDonald closing the gap. Pope was quicker by only a tenth the last time, but McDonald takes it back a full tenth faster this lap.
And one guy that really wants to see these two trucks start battling is that 14 truck.
Yeah, Dustin Eaton running there in that 5th spot. I don't really know what the mindset was there. I know he wanted to not have to worry about trying to save, or maybe he just knew that he was not going to make it to the end based on when he made that last stop. But a guy like Dustin Eaton, he's got a lot of talent on these road courses. You got to think he knows how to save fuel. But what fun is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony Williams up the racetrack. Give that leader some space. Pace at the front of the field has picked up a bit. Welch running a 14:42. Alan Vaught picking it up as well. 3/10 off of that, but still in the high 14s. Drivers may be realizing they got a little more Tiger in the tank than they bargained for.
Yeah, now that we're kind of later into this run, you're not seeing any, 1 minute, 12 second lap time either. So the pace is slowed down, which effectively makes saving even easier.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's just tire fall off as well. We saw it even in qualifying. That first lap was the money lap. once you get a second lap into it, most of the drivers were not able to improve upon that first lap speed. Now, a lot of that's just tire temperature. Yes, there's some wear involved. This racing surface not terribly old by comparison, maybe only a handful of years, but tire temperature increases pressure. It sticks that rear spoiler up in the air a little further, adds drag on these straightaways, and again, we talked about it early on in the race. This is the super speedway of road courses when it comes to these trucks, stock cars, even sports cars. You're on throttle a lot around this place. Yes, there's some heavy braking, and you want some of that downforce, but frankly, you want some front downforce, and as the truck gets tight, it's a little difficult to get that lap time that you have on that set of stickers. Well, still disposing of some lap traffic here.
UW definitely put the pace back in. I run a 13 last time, so you might be good to go.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is all of a sudden the crew chief says, all right, we got a cushion here. Set it on kill.
And then with 2 to go, iRacing's like, just kidding. You might be short run.
Well, that's why a lot of times I like to run the other overlays, because I've never found the iRacing calculation to be even remotely accurate.
I tell you, between iRacing, Race Labs, and Crew Chief, they all give you different numbers. It's awful.
Well, the thing with Race Labs and Crew Chief is you can kind of, I don't know, play with the values of what kind of fuel economy you want it to display. Do you want to give it a cushion? Sometimes it's all factored into it. It tells you that you're going to run out and you might be good, or it tells you you're good and you might run out. It's all dependent on how much extra fuel you want to add to it, because you can do that with some of those overlays. You can say, all right, well, calculate my fuel, but give me an extra lap at the end of this thing, which in many cases isn't always enough, especially if you factor in the fact that these guys do run a green, white, checkered finish on most of their races, this one being the exception because we don't have any cautions to speak of, but you got to kind of gamble it.
Interesting too on that gas too. Sometimes it's easier to run something that just tells you how many laps you have left. But I've noticed, I've lost a few races that way, kind of trusting it, and I've kind of switched to looking at what my usage is per lap, and then just kind of doing the math myself. And it's a little harder to do it, when you're behind the wheel, but boy, it's a lot more accurate.
Truck off course there again. I think the 123 just trying to stay out of the way of the race leaders there. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, that was a good move. Might be a little bit of particles washed up on the track there, right
without
going
a
in the
doubt.
carousel. That'll be interesting.
Bunch of fun nicknames for Albert Anderson over here.
Ooh, Albert Apex Ace Anderson.
You've heard of the Love Master. He's the Curve Master.
That's beautiful.
It's all in jest, obviously. Anderson, as we mentioned, not a fan of road racing. Tim Pope there, right there. Looking for that second spot.
Really's done a great race for this 33 truck, just a simple mistake, but he's run a really clean race. Other than that, it's been almost perfect.
With that too, he lost it in the bus stop, didn't hit anything, but had to get gathered back up, get back on the racetrack, and he's still only 5.7 back from Derek Welch. That really might have been the difference maker in a race win versus a P2 finish, if you can even hang on to that with Tim Pope closing.
Yeah, and off that big, I think he's going to look at any kind of top 5 as a kind of a win here.
Starting to lose the truck where he's looking in his mirror lot. Missed the exit of turn 1 pretty significantly. I'm surprised Pope wasn't able to take advantage. Pope's got Dustin Eaton there closing the gap too, so he's got to get going.
That's a fun little battle to watch here. Derek is loving it. He's out there in first place, just kind of going away. But that's lap time, 17:89. So maybe he's not good to go. Maybe he's a little tighter than he thought. It's gonna come right down to the wire, Steve.
Really is. Yeah, Welch shedding a lot of pace right now. Second, third, and fourth there, all tightly grouped together here as the laps wind down here at the Glen. Last lap for Welch, a minute 16.2. Alan Vaught, minute 14.4. Welch keeps shedding laps like that, shedding pace like that, but Vaught could catch him.
Hopefully Alan got back on track there before it was penalized. He's going to get defensive here into the bus stop.
Yeah, Pope looking to make a move here. He'll have the advantage to the left, but he has got to get alongside. Nope, can't get in there. And Eaton trying to take an advantage. That might have been what cost that position for Tim Pope. He was trying to be aggressive, but also had to defend. The 14 was closing.
Look at the traffic these guys have to deal with. Getting through this traffic is going to be everything.
Yeah, Vaught's got some breathing room behind him now, but he's got some work to do out in front. Meanwhile, Derek Welch still with the lead. 3 seconds, just shy of 3 seconds, the advantage for the 21. And laps winding down. Going to be 2 to go here in just a moment.
Man, what a gaggle.
Tim Pope looking at the inside of Vaught. They're 3 wide. Trying to get through this lap traffic. Vaught hangs on to it.
Classy move by getting down to the bottom there. Oh, it's going to get tight.
3 wide. Eaton to the bottom. He gets Pope. No, maybe not. 123 kind of in the middle. It's going to slow up the 14 considerably. They're 3 wide through the S's. You can't do that.
That's going to cost the 14 and the 7 for so much track position here.
All 3 wide on the exit again in contact. Eaton goes around. Straightens it up with the Armco, but costs him dearly.
Lap traffic playing a huge role in the end of this race.
It's tough because even if you're trying to get out of the way, there's really nowhere to go there through the S's.
And there's a lot of them, so they're all kind of in their own battle anyway. So I hope the 14 didn't get any damage on him.
Derek Welch into turn 10 here. A couple of more corners to the main straightaway. Going to look at a white flag. 1 more lap to go. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the very bitter end of this? He's done a good job conserving all race long, but out of turn 11. Back to start finish. Barney waves the white flag. Final lap here from Watkins Glen. Welch also negotiating some lap traffic. Just taking it easy. Those lap trucks, though, did cost Vaught quite a bit because now that advantage for Welch above 3 seconds again. Welch just being real careful through the bus stop. Into the carousel now for the final time. Again, he's shed a lot of speed. He's given up 7/10 just in this half a lap.
Just tiptoeing around this place, getting it to the end.
No need to worry about it. Just keep it going in the right direction. Derek Welch out of turn number 10, now into 11 for the final time. And there it is. Derek Welch played it perfectly. Started back outside front row. Crosses the start-finish line first. Wins the race here at the Glen. Alan Vaught takes the second spot from Tim Pope. What a run for Derek Welch. Practice paid off. Impressive run.
Yeah, it's good to see when somebody puts in that much practice that it pays off. It's a heck of a run by him.
It's funny. We were talking about this, Derek and I, this week because I had to travel on Wednesday. I was out of town, wasn't able to cover the race live, and it seems this is like second or third time that I've missed a broadcast, and Derek has ended up winning it. Certainly got to thank Lori and the VRL for letting us do this on a tape delay.
See if he's got enough gas here for a burnout or two.
Yeah, we'll see.
And cut the commercial right before he starts it, so
right.
There won't be any evidence.
Derek to the start-finish line. Let's see if he lights him up. Parks it on the line.
Boy, there's just no quitting Barney, is there?
No, he's having a good time up there in the flag stand. Really is. It looks like that's it here. We're going to step aside and get a quick break out of the way. Back with our top three finishers in the interview room, or at least the top two after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Watkins Glen International, Derek Welch with the race win from outside pole. We're going to get a live word with the driver of the number 21, DW, taking some time away from running the leagues and decides he's going to run races. And in this case, he's going to win races. Derek, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Derek, congratulations, man. I know this is a tape delay, but the excitement remained nonetheless. You ran a really good race out there, fast lap in qualifying, almost put it on pole, but then it seemed like it was strategy mode the rest of the way until the very bitter end. Walk us through your strategy, especially when it came to the fuel tonight.
Well, Steve, being the road course master that I am, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent, sir. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I suck at road courses. I had to practice like 400, 500 laps to even be competitive here. I started off the race knowing that was going to be a fuel run. I started outside pole and I just wanted to back up and see how hard these guys are going to run, and off the bat, I seen they was going to run hard. So I needed to make an 18 lap, and 19 lap. I wanted to keep my 19 lap at the end of the run, so when they go in the splash of fuel, I have all that time to conserve, so I'm not losing no ground to them in the first two runs. So first run, I went in the pit lane. I actually ran out of fuel. I was putting going down pit lane, and the second run I was good. I probably could have went another lap. I probably could have done my 19 stint on that run, but I wanted to keep the last run. So when they hit the stop and go, I knew they was going to stop and go. There's no way how hard they was running they was going to make it. So basically, I was just playing relative game the entire run. I'll clutch here and there, and I even on those last few laps, I even just didn't hit the accelerator going down some straightaways. I just playing a relative game. I knew they had a lot of lap traffic to get by to even get up to me. So it worked out. It worked out for me.
Worked out for sure. You take the win here on a road course. To my knowledge, is this your first road win in a competitive setting?
Yes, sir. It is. And I was worried it was not going to be broadcast because nobody's going to believe me when I tell them.
Well, we got it done here on the tape delay nonetheless. A Saturday afternoon. Can't complain about that. Looking forward here. We're off, obviously, for Christmas this week. But January 1, we go to Auto Club Speedway in the truck. You going to be around for that one?
I hope. All my races nowadays are hit and miss due to work, but I'm hoping. I'm usually pretty good at Auto Club, so hopefully I make it, and hopefully I can run well and keep climbing in the point standings, and hopefully run for a championship at the end of the season. Well,
we know you put a ton of time in here trying to get this road course thing down pat. Of course, the driver coach Zach Millett actually in the booth with us here tonight. Zach, how do you feel about your protege here tonight?
I think you did pretty damn good, Steve. You put the laps in, and it showed tonight. Just being smooth out there, you hit your marks every lap, and you were saving gas at the same time, so hell of a job, man.
Thank you.
Well, Derek, congratulations again on the win, man. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
My teammates, Larry, Dylan, and I can't think of the other guy's name. The other guy, number 47. I can't remember his name for some reason. Yeah, McAdam. Thanks for my teammates. Real big thanks to Lori and Alan. They run a great league here. It's just standard how every league should be. Great field, 32 cars a night. I mean, whatever day it was on the road course, it's awesome. And big thanks to Millett, man, come helping me in the road course. I mean, I was 114 at best, and I mean, I ran almost a 111 on one. I mean, I've never ran that fast at a road course. Big shout out to him, just helping me and giving me pointers and how to run these tracks, and it paid off tonight big time. And thanks to you, Steve, for a great broadcast.
Happy to do it, DW. Congratulations again, man. I hope to see you at the next one. Good win, man. Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
It's Derek Welch, your race winner here at the Glen. Next, we're going to talk to second place, the 33 of Alan Vaught. Let's see what happens. We'll bring him up here. The 33, Alan Vaught, runner-up here at the Glen. Alan, it's Steve and Zach in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Alan, congrats, man. A second-place run. You had a strong truck, led a bunch of laps, started third, a decent qualifying and all that. One mistake. We saw it in the bus stop, riding in behind Dion there. You got the truck crossed up, almost get into that safer barrier. What happened there? Did you wheel hop on entry or just turn too tight in?
No, and so Dion Jones was in front of me there. He had like almost that entire upper straightaway in front of me, and he just checked up more than I expected. And I was getting into the bus stop and, trying to stay in front of the second place, obviously, and efficiently pass the lap traffic. Well, I got in there and he just really checked up more than I expected. And so instead of wiping him out, I spun myself to the inside, and I got fortunate not to hit that barrier. I talked with him after the race, and I forgot he has some limitations on his braking that I had forgotten about. So it's just something I need to bear in mind for future road courses. So definitely my issue to bear there, not his. But it wasn't a wheel hop situation.
With all that said, the margin of victory ended up being 3.3 seconds. Kind of makes you wonder what if.
Yeah, I definitely wondered what if. But hey, man, I'm glad to see DW get that one. And it was going to be close. I thought he was just going to run away with it since he pitted one lap after I did. But honestly, the way things went, considering I spun out in the bus stop there, I'll take a second place. I would have taken a top 5 at that point. So getting a second place is nearly like a win in that situation for me.
Certainly a great recovery here to have an incident like that at the Glen and A, be able to drive away, and then B, still manage your top 3. Job well done there for certain. Looking forward, though, next race, not next week. Of course, we're off for Christmas, but New Year's Day, Auto Club Speedway. Go and turn left here. How do you feel about your chances to kind of regroup and maybe pick up a win out of Southern California?
I'm hopeful, man. I love Auto Club. It was a sad day for me when NASCAR tore that venue down. But yeah, I enjoy it there regardless of the vehicle we're driving. So the trucks has always been good for me there, and the Gen 6 is good when we go back later this season as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Alan, again, a job well done here at the Glen. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I mean, as always, I want to thank my wife, Lori. She's a heartbeat of VRL. But hey, next time, I think I'm going to file a protest on DW's win now that I think about it, since he received professional coaching and kind of gained an unfair advantage there from Mr. Millett. No, but seriously, hey, man, congrats to DW on that win. He played the strategy right. I don't even know if I hadn't had that issue in the bus stop, if he wouldn't have came out on top, considering how he played the fuel. Because I did not play that the best way I could have. And then my son Kyle, I hate it for him. He blew an engine. I don't know if you guys caught it in like the first 10 laps. Coming out of turn 1, kind of got loose and it nicked the inside wall there, and it blew his engine. So unfortunate for him. And then his girlfriend Taylor Provax, she's always in here pulling for me and Kyle, so that's awesome. My teammates Dave Mayberry, Kelly Cool, Greg Klein, and then thanks to you, Steve, as always, for highlighting our league in such a professional way, and to Zach Millett as a guest commentator, even though he kind of helped out the guy that beat me. That's all good.
Hey, just a side note, Alan, I don't think those sessions in practice were password protected, and I'm certain that Zach's taking on new clients, so just keep it in mind.
No, I got you. Hey, man, I'm thinking about it. I saw DW, man, what the improvement there, buddy. So yeah, I appreciate you guys, man, and thanks for doing the tape delay. I mean, I think this was awesome. I felt for DW because he said, man, they're not going to blame us. I said, you know what, we'll do that tape delay, and it came off very well. I'm watching it here live, waiting to do the interviews and everything. I really enjoyed it.
Glad it worked out. Appreciate the opportunity to come out and do this here on a Saturday afternoon. Again, Alan, a job well done, second place. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck at Auto Club.
Yeah, guys, Merry Christmas.
You as well. It's Alan Vaught, your runner-up. We're not going to get a chance to talk to Tim Pope, but that was your third place finisher. Again, as always, Pope started in the 8th spot and just kind of hung around the backside of the top 10 all race long. Charged his way up through when it mattered and finished another top 3. There's a reason why he's won so many championships in this league, and there's always that opportunity. You may get another one here before it's out.
Yeah, I think he will. Keeps up with these finishes. I mean, especially on a road course where he's not even a huge fan of. I mean, that's awesome.
With that said, let's take a look here at our race results. Of course, we talked to Derek Welch, Alan Vaught, Tim Pope. Craig Goodenough finished in the 4th spot. Dustin Eaton was 5th. 6th went to Sean McDonald. Andrew Player was 7th. George Rincone 8th. 9th, John Osborne. Trevor Robertson was 10th. Dylan Bryant 11th. Greg Klein 12th. Chris Klein 13th. Andrew Coffin finished in the 14th spot. Scott Roney 15th. 16th place finisher, that went to John McAdam. John Gallagher was 17th. 18th was Dave Mayberry. 19th was Anthony Williams. Albert Anderson, a strong 20th, considering he does not do well or like these road courses in any way, shape, or form. Dion Jones was 21st. Kevin Hunt, 22nd. Ricky Wittenberg was 23rd. Chandler Paul, 24th. Austin Paul, 25th. Jack Dixon, 26th. 27th went to Greg Dobson. Russ Kilgore, 28th. Kelly Kuhl out of this one early, finishes 29th. Josh Bittner, more of the same, 30th. And Kyle Vaught, again, losing an engine at the start of this, real early on, finishes 52 laps down, 31st place finish for the 16. Tough night for Kyle. Well, a strong race, nevertheless. Zach, thanks for joining me up here in the broadcast booth. It's been a while since I've had a booth partner, and always good to have you up here helping us out, especially on these road courses. But tell us, what's your overall thought about tonight? How'd it go?
Man, I loved every second of it. I mean, this league is awesome. VRL definitely has it going on. Huge field at a road course. Trucks are always fun to watch here, but the racing was great. The strategy was great. It was fun, in the comments on the live feed. It was just start to end. Great.
I echo those thoughts, certainly, but just want to remind everybody, you've probably seen the quick 30-second ads we've been posting here with Track Limits Network for 2025. We've started the process of making those changes, and the Discord server, the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, things are starting to look a little bit different with the new logos. Officially, that gets underway January 1 with the first race of the season here in the VRL. Track Limits Network, so check us out there. It's still youtube.com/@TrackLimitsNetwork. That's where you can find us on the YouTube side of things. If you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed to HBR TV, you do not need to resubscribe. It's technically the same page, just a little bit of a rename, so no confusion there. If you've already got that handled, you don't need to do a thing. Just keep on watching and showing up. Clicking that like button each and every race, and tell your friends. Again, we're on that road to 1,000 subscribers here at 9:45 coming into this late stage of 2024. Love to get there before January 1, but I think more likely it'll be next year. Again, that'll wrap it up for us here at the Glen. Congratulations to our top three, Derek Welch, Alan Vaught, Tim Pope. And again, for Zach Millett, I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, soon to be Track Limits Network. Join us at the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Way you do it. You play the guitar on the end